We're back, fight fans. I go by the name of Barak.
And I'm Barak, the boxing bully.
And I'm your boy, Roy Jones Jr.
That's right. We got a special guest co-host today. None other than the legend. You could call him the GOAT, Hall of Famer, one of the best broadcasters ever. All of that. Mr. Roy Jones is hosting with us today. Roy, excited to have you on, bro.
Thank you, brother. Always excited to be on.
Are you back in Florida, in Pensacola?
Yep, at the home base.
All right, I got to come by there to check out. You still got chickens and all that, roosters?
Still got it all, brother. Still got it all.
Yeah, man.
So you don't pay for eggs no more?
I don't have to. I don't all that $7 and $9 a dozen. I don't have those problems.
I hear you.
Yo, so we got an invite when we go to Florida to come have some fresh eggs?
Anytime.
That's what's up. All right, listen, big show coming to New York City, Times Square, in the middle of Times Square. It's being shut down. Obviously, Ryan Garcia is making his return. Devin Haney's fighting at Teofimo Lopez, so I want to break that card down. But I want to start off with Devin Haney, Roy. So obviously, Devin has faced a lot of criticism because of the alleged lawsuit against Ryan Garcia. He really hasn't done anything wrong, and it's almost like he's a villain without even doing anything wrong because Ryan is the one that tested positive for a banned substance. How do you come back from that mentally? Not only the loss, right, of being hurt, kind of being dropped a few times, but also the negative criticism from the public.
Well, a lot of that is you got to kind of tune it out. But here's the thing about boxing. In boxing, we're not allowed to really make excuses. You know, you fighting. You know, if this dude did something wrong, he failed the test. Okay, cool. Y'all should fine him, ban him for a year like y'all did. And the fight should not count on my record because he didn't pass the test, right? That's over with. Let's move on. All the lawsuiting and suing, no, bro, that don't happen in boxing like that. That's just going too far and overboard. You feel me? So we should have pulled that back automatically and just say, hey, that should not be on my record. He cheated. Let's call it that. Now he looks like the villain, not me. When I start trying to sue and do other things, I put myself in a jeopardizing situation because now I look like I'm trying to do too much. You understand me? Why we fighting? He cheated. That's over with. Now come back fairly to fight again, and that can go on my record. But the one you cheated on, they took that off my record already because you cheated. Confidence wise, that should have given Ryan probably a little bit of an edge, but it should also help your confidence too because you knew that he feared you enough that he had to cheat to try to beat you. You understand me? So it's a lot of ways that can work.
Wow. You know, I feel like it's always hard to come back from a loss no matter who it is, and especially in a loss when you got knocked down 3 times. But what kept the talk alive was the suing. You know, the suing is what kept it alive. Like it could have died down if it wasn't for that, you know.
The suing kept the blood rushing. You kept the bleeding going. You understand me? So it hurt so long now until that. It's like now you're giving Ryan more confidence because he feel like, wow, you don't think you can beat me physically, so you want to try to beat me in court because pretty much you know you can't beat me physically. That's how Ryan gonna feel, and that's how I would feel. It's not good, but
nobody has mentioned it and broke it down like you just mentioned, where you know Devin can feel confident if in his mind he believes that Ryan had to use something in order to beat him. That should make you feel better. Like, man, you can't beat me fair and square. But I haven't had nobody say that. Why isn't this giving Devin more confidence?
Yeah, because people don't have the guts to say what the reality is. I just tell you what reality is. I don't hate Ryan. I don't hate Devin. I love both of them. They're both good guys, both pretty good fighters. Ryan should have been banned. Ryan should have been stripped of the record because he basically failed the drug test. It's just simple. I'm not saying that it was not right what he did. No. But, baby, going to court? Nah, we can't do all that, bro. We do what we got to do, and we got to keep it moving.
So let's get into the fight, right? He's fighting a guy who's relentless, pressure. So it's not going to be an easy fight coming back from that loss because you got a guy that's going to be in your face all night in Ramirez.
To me, it's not really an easy fight at all, but it says a lot about Devin. It shows you that, I mean, to be honest, he got to have something like this because he has a lot of ground to make up for because of all the complaining and all that. People don't want to see you in an easy fight. Now, you just got through trying to sue him for some crazy. And so now you got a point to prove. So show us you can beat somebody for real. Show us that you're serious about this, and we may take you serious on the rematch. But if you don't show us that you're serious, if you don't fight a serious opponent who's a real threat to you, then we not going to believe you because you didn't stop and let it go at them taking it off your record. You kept going further, and that's not, you're the first to ever really do that. So, you got to show us something for real now, and that's what he's doing. So my hat goes off to Devin because he actually trying to show something for real. He's fighting a real formidable opponent in his first comeback fight, and that says a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I feel like Devin's always been like that. He's always been the guy that wanted to fight the top guys. When he was 19, he wanted to fight Loma. When I was like, whoa, that's too early, but that's what he wanted. And then eventually he got that fight. A lot of people are saying that this is going to be a real hard fight for Devin. But if you think about the styles, right? Look at Jose Ramirez's last fight against Barboza. Barboza beat him by being first and outworking him. And, he had that jab going. He landed 50 more punches, threw 150 more punches. Now, if anybody can be first, and if anybody can out-jab you and outwork you, it's Devin Haney. Yep. So I see Devin Haney do like Floyd do in the beginning of the fight, stab to the body, stab up top, stab to the body, keep you moving, lateral movements, and doing that. And it kind of plays into his style. But when it comes to Jose Ramirez, it's like, okay, you only fought 4 fights in 4 years, so you was kind of off for a while before you fought Barboza. Now you at a new weight. So you were already a veteran. You were already skilled. You were already a champion. But now you at a new weight. So it's the unknown that we don't know. How's he going to come? Is he going to have more power? Whatever, So it's kind of evenly matched now because of that.
Yeah, no doubt. Just to sew that up, man, I don't think the fight is going to be that difficult for Devin, and I think the chip on his shoulder is going to have him perform at a high level. No disrespect to Ramirez, but let's jump into Teofimo Lopez now, who has been the showman, Roy, for the lead up to this fight at the press conferences. Obviously, he even went on and smacked Barboza, during a face-off. Now, Barboza is also another. I don't want to compare him to Ramirez, but they're very similar in styles, in pressure. Teofimo is more of a boxer puncher than Devin. Would you say that this would be an easy fight, relatively easy fight for Teofimo because of his skill level, or will he have a tough time as well?
No fight is easy for Teofimo, and I'm gonna tell you why. Teofimo has a skill level that's out of this world, but we never know which Teofimo we're gonna see until the bell rings. So no fight is easy for Teofimo. Teofimo has a lot of stuff that he often has to deal with that people don't understand. And so for him to have to get his mind right and to come out and put all those fabulous skills on display, it takes a lot more than it does for normal people. You understand me?
Yeah.
I know. I've been there. So he's not the easy guy to predict because you don't know which one is going to show up. Now, if he comes ready, he can beat anybody on that night. But if he comes heavily burdened, anybody can beat him on that night. So what's going to really determine what happens is which Teofimo shows up.
Yeah, you know what I think with Teofimo Lopez, if you think about his journey, anytime he's really had problems, it was always family issues. Always. It was his ex-wife, his father, things like that. Other than that, so when you see that his family business is good, be scared. So now he's cool. Everything's cool between him and his father. They got a great bond. It appears to be. He's finished with the divorce, moved on, went to court, won that, got custody where he could see his child now after all of this time. I think we're going to see the best Teofimo Lopez that we can possibly see. And Barboza, and I kind of agree with you, Ak, Barboza is kind of like Jose Ramirez, just younger, fresher, maybe a little faster. But what he can do, even though not like a Jermaine Ortiz, he can counterpunch. He just not necessarily moving backwards, but it depends on the style because Jermaine Ortiz gave Teo a hard time because he was moving backwards and Teo fights differently going forward. So it depends on what style Barboza picks to use.
Yeah, I agree. And a disclaimer, when I say easy for the fight fans that don't understand, I don't mean literally an easy fight because at this level, no fight is easy. Bro, I was really trying to make a statement here. This guy, it's just for Teofimo, a fight that won't be hard as people would think, right? As people would anticipate. And I feel like that Teofimo, when it's a high level fight, because think about how he did against Loma, how he did against Josh Taylor. When the stakes were high, he always performed at a high level. When you think about the times he didn't look great, it was guys that he was supposed to beat easily. Guys like Sandor Martin, guys like Cambosis, where we didn't expect that. It was a shocker. But when it was a high level fight, he always shined. Now I'm not comparing Barbosa to Loma or Josh Taylor.
That's what I was about to ask you. So is this a high level fight?
What I mean, the event is big, Roy, right? It's Times Square. He has Devin on the card. He has Ryan on the card. He has that pressure. Like, I need to outshine all of you guys. Like, this is going to be my night. I'm still in the show. In terms of the event, I think it's high level enough for him to shine. That's my opinion. But no, absolutely not. I'm not comparing those guys to him.
Yeah, you can't compare nobody to Loma, but Barbosa's a little sneaky. Like, he's just getting by, beating these guys, not so convincingly where he's on everybody's radar, because look, the popularity is way different. Teofimo got 900 and something thousand followers. Barbosa got under 90,000. So it's different. But those kind of guys, sometimes they sneak by in victory here and there, without us really paying attention.
All right, let's move to the main event. Another man that we mentioned earlier talking about Devin, Ryan Garcia, who also received a lot of negative criticism, but there are a lot of people that sided with him because of the lawsuit issue. But one thing we did see, Roy, is we saw Ryan beat Devin to the punch. We saw Ryan was able to hurt Devin. We kind of saw Ryan in a different light compared to what we saw him against Gervonta Davis because of the weight drain, him being comfortable at 142, whatever he came in that fight. It was a strong Ryan Garcia. Now, is Rolly Romero dangerous? Is he a threat to Ryan, or are we going to see what everybody's expecting, the vicious knockout?
Well, I think we'll see a vicious knockout like everybody's expecting. But understand this, Rolly Romero is dangerous to anybody. Rolly Romero can punch. All you need is one mistake. If he hits you, you have issues immediately. He's just like, he's the watered-down version of Prince Nassim Hamed. If Prince Nassim hits you, you had a problem. He's not as skillful as Prince was.
That's a lot of water, though. That's a lot of water. He said watered down.
It's a lot of water. That's a watered down version. That's why I say a watered down version. But it's still the outcome. If he hits you, you got problems.
Right.
Yeah, other than that, if you outbox him and fight him smart, you can take him apart. I tell you what, Tank fought Rolly very smartly, right? Tank fought Garcia very smartly. Devin didn't fight Garcia smartly. You understand me? So it's not about this necessarily the skill level. They all have great skill levels. All of them are pretty much skillful craftsmen at what they do. The point is, who knows how to go in there and utilize what's necessary to take the other guy's strengths away and operate on his weaknesses. The best one at that right now is Gervonta Davis. That's why he does it at the weight class, I'm saying. So Gervonta had an easy time with both of those guys because he knew how to take their weapons away. He didn't go out there and try to swap with Rolly early because he know Rolly is too big, too strong. Rolly is a different kind of puncher. Just make no mistake about it. He ain't the most skilled guy, like I said, but he's a different kind of puncher. You can't give Rolly nothing them first 2 rounds. After that, now you can go fight him.
Yeah, that's the absolute truth. I feel like people are saying that Ryan Garcia makes defensive mistakes still, but Rolly, because he's not as skilled as these other boxers, like Devin Haney. Devin Haney hurt Ryan Garcia in the second round. I was surprised that he pressured him like that too. But can Rolly actually get past the defense of Ryan, no matter what kind of mistakes Ryan make, and get out of the way of that vicious left hook?
Yeah,
that's going to be really tough.
I was just about to say that. It ain't can he get through the defense, is can he avoid that left hook? Wow.
That's the defense.
Yeah. And, a lot of people complain, to point out what you said, Barak, about Ryan's defense, but he told us one time, he's like, isn't defense about getting away from punches and not getting hit? He said, I know distancing well. You might not like what I do in the ring the way it looks, right? But how often do I really get hit? Which brings up a good point. And even, Roy, you were a guy that might have not been traditional, but you knew how to get away from punches in your own unique way. So that's essentially what defense is, right?
Yes, exactly what defense is.
Yeah,
right. So you look at Roy, you're like, Roy, why are you doing that? That's totally wrong, but it's beautiful in there. Nobody else could do it. But
before we wrap this up, Roy, who steals the show on May 2nd in Times Square?
No, right now, I'm about to go towards Teofimo. And the reason I'm saying Teofimo is because I think Teofimo has the most to prove anyway. The other two guys are basically just trying to show that they deserve to fight each other again. Teofimo saying, you know what? He got a chance to say, I'm going to show you that I'm actually better than both of y'all. You understand me? So he has the more to prove. He has no pressure because he ain't about to fight either one of them next. They about to fight each other next. So he is the man who has a free mind, a great opportunity, a great stage set already to steal the show.
I like
All
that.
right, one more question, Roy, before we go. Do you look at this and say, dag, I wish Turkey Alashek and all of these great ideas like fighting in Times Square was around when I was fighting?
No, I don't wish that. Because I would have probably had to move to the moon because I'd have been so famous. So I don't wish that. I don't wish that on myself. I would not be able to go in public right now. I love being able to go. I love being able to go in public. Had he done that, I wouldn't even be. I probably wouldn't be on the earth right now. I'd be somewhere else living.
I got you.
I'd have to because I was a guy that came to entertain. I ain't like these normal guys. I ain't come just give y'all fights. I gave y'all fights, fun, laughter. Everything.
Concert.
You heard me? I gave y'all everything. So
you know what? Speaking of entertainment, really quick, I got to touch on this lastly, right? If you were in that situation in the middle of Times Square, shut down, off the top of the dome, what is Roy Jones' entrance? How would you enter that ring?
I would have something that I would already have made for Times Square. And I would rock it coming in the ring. And when I finish, I rock the whole song again after my fight. And everybody had to wait till I finish rocking my song unless they want to fight. You heard me?
No doubt.
Nobody like Roy Jones, man. All right, listen, you guys have to tune in on May 2nd on DAZN. You don't want to miss this showdown, man. In the middle of Times Square in New York City. Peace and love. Stay safe. We're out of here.